What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. Boozer here. Thanks for stopping by. Today's video, I'm going to talk about the current Loki chase. I know a lot of you guys have been completing this every day, so you guys will probably be pulling him today or tomorrow. I am on the test server here, so this does not accurately represent the current progress on your Loki chase, but I believe people are starting to pull him today. In any case, I find that there hasn't been enough kind of comments about Loki's kit that I find a little bit troublesome or a little bit problematic for people. And I think in this video, I want to talk about some things about Loki that I think we should all be a little bit more careful about. So yeah, let's jump right into it. All right, so here's my Loki. It's on the test server, so I've been playing around a little bit with him, and I have a couple issues with him, mainly because he is a free login champion. The fact that he's in the game is not a bad thing. He's not a bad champion. The problem with him that I think most people aren't really talking about is not that he's a bad champion. It's mostly because he is a free login champion that everyone can pick up. The biggest problem here is that it's kind of like given that a lot of people would try to use him in the early game. So, for example, if you are a brand new account or mid-game account, you pick up a free legendary, you kind of think that it's going to be the best, champion that you have, right? And best champion for the job. But I want to caution some of you guys that this isn't actually the case with Loki, because to me, Loki has a kit very specialized for certain areas. And after playtesting him, he definitely doesn't shine as much for general usage as I thought he would. For example, his A1 duration increase is fine. It's a fine skill. It works kind of for Hydra for like extending poisons and HP burn, which is very important for like early game clan boss, just for damage, right? We all know that champions that can extend debuffs can definitely pay for themselves for clan boss damage, like to the point where we use really bad champions. Like somebody that comes to mind is this guy Bulwark. Bulwark has a passive to extend the duration of debuffs, and it's only 30%, and he is used in some clan boss teams. He does bring like a weekend and all that stuff, but he's pretty bad. He's a bad pretty bad champion, right? But he does get used in obviously clan boss, right? So in this case, Loki's A1 is obviously better because it's an attack and all that stuff. But he doesn't bring much else to clan boss. He has block buffs, doesn't bring much else. Like the rest of his kit doesn't really help. He's not going to steal the attack as often as you think he would. He offers a little bit of a heal. He offers a little bit of damage mitigation with the evade. But he's not that great in clan boss. Other areas where you kind of think that he would be pretty good in is maybe Hydra for a bit more mid-game player. Because he does bring the block buffs. Well, he does bring block buffs, which is pretty huge, right? There's not that many champions that have the block buffs. However, you have to assume that mostly this is a single target block buff. It's not going to spread as often as you think it will spread for Loki, because for him to really shine with this ability, he needs somebody to place Veil on him consistently. His passive does not give him consistent Veil in a situation where it's one long turn, for example, against the Hydra clan boss or the normal clan boss. He won't be getting his perfect Veil refresh. So he won't be under Veil unless he's constantly under 50% HP, which you probably try really hard to avoid, right? You'd probably try really hard to avoid for your team to be more healthy than 50%. So his passive doesn't really help him stay under Veil. So this ability is mainly a single target block buffs, and block active skills doesn't really work on Hydra, right? So the other condition is that he can offer a single target heal and a single target perfect Veil, which is honestly not very good value for a 3-turn cooldown, and that's actually fully booked. He's not usable without books because he can't 100% chance place the block buffs. So you can kind of see the problem here. With his A2 against Hydra, and that's kind of where you think that he would be pretty good. His A3, it's another 75%. Again, you require books for this. It's a single target steal and the turn meter steal as well. Having him under Veil, again, the condition is not going to be met. But I will concede that in the first turn that he gets, he likely will get this to go off unresisted. So it works, right? It works. Against bosses, you're probably not going to use them too often. Obviously, the Odin boss comes to mind with this ability. And then you get a turn meter fill with the increased attack. You get a turn meter fill with the increased attack. For 4-turn cooldown, honestly, if this was a 3-turn cooldown, it'd be a lot stronger. But 4-turn cooldown is just not super good. In terms of this general usage of this ability, you're mainly going to use this in arena, and it's most effective in arena because you will likely get your turn. You will likely be able to steal somebody's buffs, and then it will likely be unresisted. And also bringing the increased attack is pretty solid as well. Now, his passive is cool. The evade mechanic is cool, and he does have ways to put the veil back on himself. However, like I said, it's not consistent enough to fully rely on the veil. If he doesn't have veil, his skills are very, very average. Very average. And honestly, in the beginning, mid-game, early game, it's very difficult to have teams that have proper synergy with each other. With that said, there is a promo code going out around with Rector Draft, and Rector Draft actually pairs with him very well, to the point where it's like you must bring Rector Draft to make him super consistent so you get maximum value from his skills. But that's the thing, right? Like if you don't have Rector Draft, and eventually you'll sub out Rector Draft and probably Loki eventually, because both of them are very slow dungeon champions. They don't clear waves quickly. They're more for like survivability. They're more for surviving and controlling the waves and out healing them, right? So eventually you'll move them out for faster champions. But in this case, Loki being a free login champion means everybody gets him, meaning everybody will probably try to use him more often than not, especially the early game because they have limited champions. But I want to caution you guys that investing in this guy over significantly better champions is probably going to hurt your account. And what I mean by that, by investing, I mean specifically the books. The books make him better, significantly better. And it's like a must. He's a must book because you can't have your steal fail 1 in 4 times. You can't have your block buffs fail 1 in 4 times. Okay? And obviously the cooldown. So 5-turn cooldown and 4-turn cooldown if they're not booked. You can't have those fail. You can't have those be such ridiculous cooldowns. So he has to be booked. If you don't book him, then he's never going to be performing as good as he could. With that being said, you don't really want to spend 10 books on this guy. 4, 3. Yeah, you don't really want to spend 10 books on this guy, to be honest. Is he usable without books? Yes, you can definitely use him without books, and he'll be all right. He has an AOE. He has an AOE increased duration here, and it works. It's only 30%. Keep in mind, it's only 30%, and without books, he's going to be a lot worse. But it does work, and it's an AOE, so that's something. And the other thing that's good about him is that he does come with the 5-star blessing. So gearing him out, he'll have some extra stats, blessing, lots of extra stats, right? From being a legendary and all that. So he'll be easy to gear. So definitely, by all means, use this guy, but definitely don't invest the farm into this guy. Like, for example, putting all your books into him. You might even save masteries on him, considering that he already got basically a bunch of masteries set up for him. Just out of the box, just getting the blessings. You're basically getting a bunch of masteries in terms of stats on him, right? You could even like save the masteries on him. But for me, if I was an earlier mid-game player and I saw this is not what you want, and it's not somebody that you want to prioritize ahead of somebody like, say, your campaign farmer that's going to farm food for you. You want to prioritize that kind of champion, right? You want that champion to have the masteries first, that champion to have the books first. You want to prioritize that because that champion will build your account. Loki will not build your account. That's the thing. Champions like Loki, champions like Adlin, they won't build your account. They'll help your account, but they won't be the building block that you need in the beginning. So, for example, I got some questions. This is why I'm kind of making this video, because I got questions saying that should I book Loki over somebody like Ninja? And Ninja and Loki basically came at, similar times, right? And I was like, hell no, you should not book Loki over Ninja. I'm like, yo, stop, hold that. No way you should book Loki over Ninja, right? Like, and it has to be said, right? It has to be said. Ninja, you get top value. He's going to be an excellent champion throughout your entire raid account. And he's still being used, 3 years later, right? He's still a great champion. There's no way you book Loki over Ninja, especially at one of your first champions. You're gonna get through. You could get through arena as a DPS dungeon crawling boss. Even campaign farming, Ninja can do it better than Loki. The other champion is Sun Wukong. I heard Sun Wukong. Should I book him over Sun Wukong? I'm like, hell no, you're not supposed to book Loki over Sun Wukong. You gotta book like Sun Wukong can do it all too. Damage from everywhere. He can be super damage. He can be super support. In the same kind of idea, Sun Wukong could be doing what Loki can do: block buffs, stealing stuff. You know what I mean? Like it's interesting, right? But it needs to be said, and it needs to be a cautionary tale for people to, because he's a legendary, because he's free, because he's shiny and new, because he's a famous name and all that stuff. You gotta be careful, right? Don't just fully invest in this guy just because of what you guys see. And I feel like there's not enough people kind of mentioning this as just like, be careful. Like, this is kind of a trap champion. Same way that Adlin is kind of a trap champion. And it's mostly for earlier mid-game players. Once you sink the first 10 books into this guy, you could have sunk those 10 books into somebody else. Or maybe you pull legendary and then you have no books for that champion. And then the thing is, Loki won't actually push your account faster and further than if you would have saved those books for somebody else. Just saying. Also, the masteries part. You don't really need to master him if you're not doing like super high-end, content. If you're just starting out, maybe save the masteries. Honestly, in the beginning, the only reason you need masteries is to go for War Master to get more damage against bosses. And that's kind of the main thing. For supports, you kind of don't really need masteries to start off with. So for Loki, I would definitely recommend saving the masteries, saving the books, using him as is if you're early or mid game and you just picked up a shiny new legendary to try out. I think that's fine. You can definitely use him for some content, especially the Odin event dungeon. He's pretty good, right? He brings the block buffs, he brings some stealing, but even to me, he was not very useful, and I couldn't really put him into for example, a Dungeon 30 team. I couldn't really fit him in. But I have no doubt that he will help some people in the lower stages. But just saying, be careful, guys. Definitely assess your account properly before jumping into this guy. Anyways, that's all I gotta say about Loki. I think that's gonna be the last video on him. I just want to make sure that everyone is aware of the full picture of this guy's capabilities, where or where not he's good. Personally, when I was testing him, I had him in a curse set for just general content. I had him in stone skin for arena. Like, I was trying this type of build on him. High accuracy, high speed, and stone skin for arena. And he really didn't impress. He's clunky to use in Hydra without additional help with the Veil. Clan boss, he's minimal use. Dungeons, honestly, in dungeons, you want a full auto dungeons. You don't want to be like manual clicking, stealing stuff, and doing all this mumbo jumbo. Hydra, again, minimal use. Like I said, without the Veil, he can't properly spread. So he's a single target block buff with an AoE, debuff extension. Doesn't really do much, right? And then, you don't want the Hydras to have buffs on, so there's nothing for them to steal. So he's basically increased attack, increased turn meter champion, which is fine. But, you can find that in, Deacon Armstrong or something. He at least brings AoE decreased defense with the leech and a speed aura. But, anyways, guys, that's it for the video. Let me know in the comments below if you guys think I'm barking up the wrong tree here. But I think it needs to be said. So, thanks for watching, guys. Appreciate your time as always. Have a great day, and I'll see you guys in the next video.